I have to make a confession. This dark, cluttered corner of my basement is where I've been working out recently. If you want to see how I transformed this space for less than $300 and in less than 3 hours, then stick around to the end of this video. Alright, I got everything cleaned out except for the backup battery for the sump pump. So other than that, everything's all gone. So we're going to grab the shop vac real quick, clean up all this dust and other debris. Alright, we're just about an hour into the project. I got everything cleaned out. All the floors and walls are vacuumed. So we're ready to put down some paint. To paint the walls and floor, I use Drylock basement paint. I cut in around the edges with a thick brush and then just rolled it on the walls and the floor. Painting everything took about an hour. Once it was done, I had to let it dry for about 2 hours before I could walk on it. I took this time to go to the shop and build a floating shelf to put my TV on. It's going to be mounted on this back wall. If you want to check that out, it's a separate video, and I'll put a link at the end of this one. Afterwards, I came back and mounted an LED light strip to the ceiling. It's an 8-foot long LED, and I use those in my shop. I got about 8 of them. So I'm going to go through the installation of that now. Alright, we're back in the newly painted basement, and before we hang our new cabinet and remount the TV, I want to take care of the lighting situation down here. So, we're going to use these 8-foot LED light strips. I have 8 of these in the shop. I have an extra one, and I'm going to hang it in here. They go up very easily. They just attach with these small clips. You screw each clip into one of the ceiling joists with one small screw, and then you just clip the light into it. You can mount it with as few as 2. I'll probably use 4 of them. For power, I'm going to need to tap into this light and put a junction box down towards the end where the pigtail is going to be for the LED light. If you're not comfortable doing this, just hire an electrician. I'm comfortable doing it, so I'm going to turn the breaker to this off. I'm going to turn on my work light and then get started. So that's all there is to it. I just turn the breaker off, work light on, and then I grab a drywall square. And once I eyeball where I want my light to be, I use that to mark each joist so I know that all the clips are going to be nice and straight. Once I get my clips fastened into place, I just take the light and pop it into the clips. It's that easy. Then I just have to worry about wiring the pigtail to give it power. All right, we got our light up and wired in. So now we're going to turn the breaker back on and test it out. Looks good to me. Now we'll get set up to mount the shelf so we can put the TV on top of it. We're going to mount our shelf using a French cleat. If you're not familiar with that, there's a piece on the back of the shelf. Cut at a 45-degree angle to the inside, and this piece that goes on the wall with a matching angle. This sits on the wall and the shelf slides down right on top of it and makes a gravity connection. We're going to attach this to the wall through these 3 pre-drilled holes using Tapcon screws. These are 2 1/4 inch screws, and they're supposed to be a hole drilled a 1/4 inch deeper than the screw embedment, which means these are going to go through 3/4 inch plywood into the wall. So 2 1/4 minus 3/4 inch is 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches plus a 1/4 inch will give us 1 3/4 inches. I'm going to take my tape measure and measure on the drill bit 1 3/4 inches. And then mark the depth with a piece of tape. Next, I'm going to determine my shelf height. I want the TV to rest just below the bottom of the windows, so I'll measure the TV first. And I have 31 inches. And I'm going to put the cleat in place. And then measure from the top of the cabinet to the bottom of the cleat. That's 8 inches. So 8 and 31 is going to be 39 inches to the bottom of the cleat. Go ahead and mark my 39 inches down from the bottom of the window. And that's going to be the bottom of my cleat. The top of the shelf should rest about here, and then the TV will come right up underneath the window. Next, I put some double-sided tape on the back of the cleat, lined it up with my pencil line I made with the level, and then just stuck it to the wall. This will keep it held in place so I can take my hammer drill and make a couple of starter holes where I'm going to drill. Then I'll remove the cleat. Now I'm going to take my hammer drill and just make a few marks where those pre-drilled holes are. Then I can remove the cleat and drill all the way through. When you're going to use your hammer drill to drill through masonry, make sure it's on the hammer setting. Then I went and made a couple of marks in all those holes so I knew where to drill. I removed the cleat and drilled the hole all the way to the depth that I marked on my drill bit. After I drilled all my holes to the depth that I marked on my drill bit, I cleaned them out and then attached the cleat using the Tapcon screws and my Makita impact driver. I left the screws a little loose so that way I could slide the shelf down on top of the cleat and then tighten everything up afterwards. Fits like a glove. There you have it. Nice and flush to the back wall. A little dusty. As you can see, I finished off the space with a few of these rubber horse stall mats from Tractor Supply. They're about $50 each. I used 4 of them. I had them upstairs laying around in the garage, but if you're going to go buy them, they're about $50 each. So $200 for flooring, about $50 for paint, and a $20 light. So for less than $300, we're able to brighten up the space, get it cleaned out, and make it much more functional. I hope you're tempted to try something like this at home on your own. It was very easy. It only took me a few hours over a couple of days. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.